Audrey Hepburn's gamine grace, elegant beauty, and innate sense of style made her a timeless icon of fashion and cinema. Beyond her film career, she was a devoted humanitarian. She passed away from appendiceal cancer on January 20, 1993, at her home in Switzerland. She was 63 years old. Hepburn is buried in the Tollechenaz Cemetery in Tollechenaz, Vaud, Switzerland, the small, quiet village where she lived for many years. Her grave is in a simple, peaceful corner of the small cemetery, reflecting the modest and private life she preferred. The grave is marked by a simple, unadorned wooden cross bearing her name and dates. The plot itself is a humble patch of earth, often covered with flowers and plants, left by her many admirers. The profound simplicity of her final resting place stands as a beautiful testament to her genuine humility and her choice to live a life of grace and service away from the Hollywood spotlight. Jayne Mansfield was one of the original blonde bombshells of the 1950s, a glamorous actress and pin-up model known for her flamboyant personality, platinum blonde hair, and hourglass figure. Her life was cut short in a horrific car accident on June 29, 1967, at the age of 34. She is buried at Fairview Cemetery in Pen Argyl, Pennsylvania, the town where her father was raised. Her grave is marked by a large, heart-shaped granite headstone, a fitting tribute to her public persona as a goddess of love and glamour. The stone is inscribed with her name, Jayne Mansfield, her dates, and the epitaph, "We live to love you more each day." While this is her official burial site, a cenotaph, or empty memorial monument, was also erected for her by her fan club at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery in Los Angeles, ensuring her memory is honored on both coasts. Gary Cooper epitomized the strong, silent American hero, a man of integrity and quiet charisma. His handsome, rugged looks made him one of Hollywood's most enduring leading men, winning 2 Academy Awards for Best Actor. Cooper passed away from prostate cancer on May 13, 1961, in Los Angeles, just 6 days after his 60th birthday. Initially, he was buried at Holy Cross Cemetery in Culver City. However, after his wife, Veronica, relocated to New York, she had his remains moved to be closer to her. His final resting place is now at the Sacred Hearts of Jesus and Mary Cemetery in Southampton, New York. He is interred in an in-ground plot marked by a massive 3-ton boulder of natural granite, reportedly from a local quarry. The stone is inscribed with a simple bronze cross and a plaque bearing his name and dates. This powerful naturalistic monument perfectly reflects the stoic and unpretentious persona he embodied on screen. Hedy Lamarr was often called the most beautiful woman in film, her exotic Austrian beauty defining a certain type of Hollywood glamour. But she was also a brilliant inventor, co-creating a frequency-hopping technology that is a precursor to modern Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Lamarr passed away in her sleep at her home in Florida on January 19, 2000, at the age of 85. Her final wishes were a tribute to both sides of her identity, her Hollywood past and her Austrian roots. Hedy Lamarr was cremated, and her son fulfilled her request to have her ashes scattered in the Vienna Woods, Wienerwald, in Austria, the beautiful forested highlands that surround her native city. There is no physical grave in a cemetery. Her final resting place is the natural landscape of her homeland. In 2014, she was also given an honorary grave in Vienna's Central Cemetery, a symbolic tribute to a woman of both stunning beauty and incredible intellect. Sharon Tate was a radiant actress and model whose stunning beauty and gentle spirit positioned her as one of Hollywood's most promising rising stars in the late 1960s. Her life was brutally cut short on August 9, 1969, when she was murdered by members of the Manson family. She was 8.5 months pregnant. She was just 26 years old. Tate is buried at Holy Cross Cemetery in Culver City, California. She was laid to rest with her unborn son, who was named Paul Richard Polanski after the funeral. They are interred together in an in-ground plot. The grave is marked by a simple, flat bronze plaque, set flush with the lawn. The marker is inscribed with her name, Sharon Tate Polanski, and her son's name directly below hers. The inclusion of her son on the marker makes her final resting place an incredibly poignant and heartbreaking reminder of the immense tragedy and lost potential. James Dean became an instant icon of teenage rebellion and angst, with only 3 major film roles. His brooding good looks and raw, vulnerable performances defined a generation. His life was tragically cut short in a car accident on September 30th, 1955, at the age of 24. His death cemented his legendary status. Dean was brought back to his hometown for his final resting place. He is buried at Park Cemetery in Fairmount, Indiana, the small farming town where he was raised by his aunt and uncle. His grave is a major site of pilgrimage for his fans from around the world. The grave is marked by a simple but elegant, upright headstone made of polished pink granite. It is inscribed with his name, James B. Dean, and his dates of birth and death. The simple, peaceful, Midwestern setting of his grave provides a poignant contrast to the turbulent and iconic image he left behind. Cary Grant was the epitome of suave, sophisticated charm. His debonair good looks, athletic grace, and unmatched flair for both comedy and drama made him one of Hollywood's most beloved and enduring stars. He passed away from a stroke on November 29, 1986, in Davenport, Iowa, at the age of 82. A famously private man who shunned the Hollywood funeral spectacle, Grant's final instructions were clear and simple: no funeral and a private disposition. He was cremated, and his ashes were given to his wife, Barbara Harris, and his daughter, Jennifer Grant. It is widely reported that his ashes were scattered in the Pacific Ocean, though some accounts suggest they were scattered over the gardens of his former home in Beverly Hills. In either case, there is no public grave or memorial site. This intensely private end was perfectly in keeping with the dignified and elegant way he lived his life, off-screen and away from the spotlight. Rudolph Valentino was cinema's first Latin lover, and one of the great icons of the silent film era. His exotic good looks and smoldering on-screen passion caused a level of mass hysteria among his fans that was previously unknown. His sudden death from a perforated ulcer at the age of 31 on August 23, 1926, prompted widespread grief and chaos. He is entombed in a crypt at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery in Los Angeles. His crypt is located within the cathedral mausoleum. The marker is a simple marble plaque inscribed with his name, Rudolph Valentino, and his dates. For decades, a mysterious woman in black would visit his crypt on the anniversary of his death, leaving a red rose. This tradition, continued by others over the years, has made his final resting place a legendary site of pilgrimage for classic film fans, a lasting tribute to his romantic and enduring legacy. Rock Hudson was the ideal Hollywood leading man of the 1950s and 60s, a tall, dark, and handsome star who epitomized wholesome American masculinity. His death from AIDS-related complications on October 2, 1985, at the age of 59, was a shocking event that fundamentally changed public perception of the disease. Hudson's final wishes were for no funeral and a simple, private disposition. He was cremated, and his ashes were scattered into the Pacific Ocean, specifically in the channel between Wilmington, California, and Santa Catalina Island. There is no public grave or memorial for him. This choice of a final resting place in the vast open sea reflects a desire for privacy and freedom. A cenotaph, or memorial plaque, was later placed for him at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Cathedral City, California, providing a place for remembrance, though his actual remains are with the ocean he reportedly loved. Montgomery Clift brought a new kind of vulnerable, brooding intensity to the screen, and his sensitive, handsome features made him one of the most compelling actors of his generation. His life was marked by turmoil, especially after a car accident in 1956 that permanently altered his appearance. He passed away from a heart attack on July 23, 1966, at the age of 45. Clift is buried in the Friends Quaker Cemetery in Prospect Park, Brooklyn, New York. It is a very simple and historic cemetery, reflecting the Quaker traditions of modesty and simplicity. His grave is located in a quiet, unassuming section and is marked by a small, plain, gray granite stone, set flush with the ground. The marker bears only his name, Edward Montgomery Clift, and his years of birth and death. The stark simplicity and peaceful seclusion of his final resting place offer a poignant contrast to the immense emotional complexity and inner torment he so brilliantly conveyed on screen. Rita Hayworth was the ultimate love goddess of the 1940s, a stunning beauty and a sensational dancer whose vibrant red hair and radiant smile made her a top pin-up girl during World War II. She passed away on May 14, 1987, from complications of Alzheimer's disease, a diagnosis that she courageously made public. She was 68 years old. Hayworth is buried at Holy Cross Cemetery in Culver City, California, a prominent Catholic cemetery that is the final home of many Hollywood stars. She is interred in an in-ground plot in a section of the cemetery known as The Grotto. The grave is marked by a simple, elegant, and understated flat bronze plaque, set flush with the lawn. It is inscribed with her name, dates, and a quotation from her daughter, Yasmin Aga Khan. To yesterday's companionship and tomorrow's reunion, this touching epitaph speaks to a legacy of personal love rather than public stardom. Natalie Wood was a beloved actress whose dark, expressive eyes and captivating beauty graced the screen from childhood. She grew from a child star into a dramatic actress in iconic films like Rebel Without a Cause and West Side Story. Her life was tragically cut short when she drowned off the coast of Catalina Island on November 29, 1981, under mysterious circumstances. She was 43 years old. She is buried at Westwood Village Memorial Park in Los Angeles, California, a small and exclusive cemetery. She is interred in a prominent in-ground plot. The grave is marked by a simple, elegant, flat bronze plaque, set flush with the lawn. It bears her name, Natalie Wood Wagner, her dates, and an inscription in Russian, Dorogeya Natasha, which translates to Dear Natasha, a nod to her Russian heritage. It also includes the loving epitaph, More Than Love. Her peaceful grave remains a popular spot for fans to leave flowers. Clark Gable was the king of Hollywood, whose rugged masculinity, charming grin, and commanding presence made him the definitive leading man for over 3 decades. His role as Rhett Butler in Gone with the Wind is legendary. Gable passed away from a heart attack on November 16, 1960, at the age of 59. Despite having been married 5 times, his final wish was to be buried next to his third wife, Carole Lombard, who was the great love of his life. He is entombed in the crypt directly beside hers, in the Sanctuary of Trust, within the Great Mausoleum at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California. His marble crypt is sealed with a simple plaque inscribed Clark Gable with his dates of birth and death. The side-by-side placement of their crypts serves as a final, enduring testament to their iconic love story, forever uniting Hollywood's king and his beloved queen in death as they were in life. Jean Harlow was Hollywood's original blonde bombshell, the quintessential sex symbol of the early 1930s. Her platinum blonde hair, sparkling wit, and sensual screen presence set a new standard for glamour. Tragically, she died from kidney failure at the height of her fame on June 7, 1937, at the age of 26. She is entombed in a grand private room within the Great Mausoleum at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California. The room, purchased by her fiancé William Powell, is made of marble and features a large stained glass window. Her crypt is sealed with a simple marble plaque inscribed with her real name, Harlean Carpenter, her dates, and the poignant and simple epitaph, Our Baby. The tomb is a lavish and beautiful final resting place, a symbol of the immense love and adoration she inspired during her short but incredibly impactful life and career in Hollywood. Vivien Leigh was an actress of breathtaking, delicate beauty and formidable talent, forever immortalized by her 2 Oscar-winning roles as Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind and Blanche Dubois in A Streetcar Named Desire. She passed away from chronic tuberculosis in London on July 8, 1967, at the age of 53. In keeping with her wishes, Vivien Leigh was cremated at the Golders Green Crematorium in London. Following the cremation, her ashes were given to her family. Her daughter, Suzanne, scattered them on the lake at Tickeridge Mill, Leigh's beloved country home near Blackboys, Sussex, England. This was the place where she found peace and solace, away from the pressures of fame and her struggles with mental illness. There is no public grave to visit. Her final resting place is a private, tranquil, and beautiful body of water, a poetic and fitting end for a woman of such ethereal beauty and dramatic intensity. Steve McQueen was the king of cool, whose rugged good looks, anti-hero persona, and quiet intensity made him one of the biggest box office stars of the 1960s and 70s. He epitomized a new kind of masculine ideal. McQueen passed away from cancer related to asbestos exposure on November 7, 1980, in Mexico. He was 50 years old, a man who valued his freedom and privacy above all. His final wishes reflected his maverick spirit. Steve McQueen was cremated, and on the day after his death, his ashes were scattered from a private plane into the Pacific Ocean. There is no public grave, no headstone, and no specific site for his fans to visit. His final resting place is the vast, open expanse of the ocean, a fittingly untamed and boundless monument for a man who lived life on his own terms and consistently resisted being tied down. His memorial is his iconic body of work and the enduring image of cool he created. Carole Lombard was the queen of the screwball comedy, a vibrant and beautiful actress whose infectious energy and glamour made her one of the highest-paid stars in Hollywood. Her fairy tale romance with Clark Gable was legendary. Tragically, her life was cut short when she was killed in a plane crash on January 16, 1942, while returning from a war bond tour. She was just 33 years old. She is entombed at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California, in the Sanctuary of Trust within the Great Mausoleum. She was laid to rest alongside her mother, who also perished in the crash. The marble crypt is inscribed with her married name, Carole Lombard Gable, along with her dates. Years later, after his own death in 1960, Clark Gable chose to be interred in the crypt directly beside her, forever reuniting Hollywood's most beloved couple. Their side-by-side crypts remain a powerful and romantic symbol of their enduring love story. A fittingly dramatic and unsentimental final act for one of cinema's most powerful and enigmatic figures. Ava Gardner, often called the world's most beautiful animal, possessed a stunning, earthy beauty and a fiery persona that made her one of Hollywood's most glamorous and tempestuous stars. She passed away from pneumonia in London on January 25, 1990, at the age of 67. Despite her glamorous, globe-trotting life, her final wish was to be brought home. She is buried at the Sunset Memorial Park in Smithfield, North Carolina, the town where she was raised. Her grave is in a simple family plot, alongside her parents and siblings. The grave is marked by a modest, upright granite headstone, which bears her name, Ava Gardner, her dates, and a small engraved image of a reclining cherub. At the foot of the grave is a life-sized bronze statue of Gardner. This return to her simple, rural roots provides a poignant and down-to-earth final resting place for a woman who became the epitome of international Hollywood glamour. Marlon Brando redefined screen acting with his raw, naturalistic style, and his brooding good looks made him a cultural icon and a definitive symbol of rebellious masculinity. He passed away from respiratory failure on July 1, 2004, at the age of 80. Brando's final wishes were as unconventional and private as his life. He was cremated, and his ashes were divided. A portion of his ashes were scattered in Death Valley, California, a place he loved for its stark and desolate beauty. The other portion was famously mixed with the ashes of his close friend, Wally Cox, and scattered at the same location. This act was a final tribute to a deep and lifelong friendship. There is no public grave, tomb, or marker. His final resting place is the harsh, beautiful, and unforgiving landscape of the desert. Tyrone Power was the epitome of the dashing romantic hero of Hollywood's golden age. His stunningly handsome features made him one of the industry's biggest box office draws from the 1930s to the 1950s. Tragically, he died of a massive heart attack on the set of a film in Madrid, Spain, on November 15, 1958, at the age of 44. He is buried at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery in Los Angeles, California. His grave is one of the most famous and visited in the cemetery, located in a prominent spot beside the cemetery's lake. The grave is marked by a unique marble bench. The inscription on the bench is a quote from Shakespeare's Hamlet, "Good night, sweet prince, and flights of angels sing thee to thy rest." This beautiful and fitting epitaph, chosen by his friend, the actor Cesar Romero, serves as a timeless tribute to a man whose swashbuckling on-screen persona and real-life charm defined an era of cinematic romance. Lauren Bacall was an icon of Hollywood's golden age, known for her sultry voice, sleek beauty, and the look, a smoldering gaze that captivated audiences, and her future husband, Humphrey Bogart. She exuded a sophisticated, tough-minded glamour. Bacall passed away after a stroke in New York City on August 12, 2014, at the age of 89. Her final wishes were to be laid to rest with the love of her life. She was cremated, and her ashes were interred in the same columbarium niche as Humphrey Bogart at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California. The niche is in the Garden of Memory, an outdoor columbarium. The simple bronze plaque that seals their final resting place is inscribed with both of their names, dates, and a poignant epitaph that reads, "Here lies Bogey and Bacall. The whole world had a ball." This final tribute perfectly captures the legendary romance and exciting lives of two of cinema's most beloved stars. Elizabeth Taylor was a true Hollywood royal, a legendary beauty whose violet eyes and dramatic life made her an icon of glamour, talent, and resilience. She was a star from childhood and won 2 Academy Awards for Best Actress. She passed away from congestive heart failure on March 23, 2011, at the age of 79. Her funeral was a famously private affair, and in a final act of her signature wit, she arranged to be 15 minutes late. She is buried at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California, within the Great Mausoleum, the same final resting place as her close friend, Michael Jackson. She is interred in a private, inaccessible section. The grave itself is not visible to the public, but the area is marked by a large, beautiful statue of an angel. Her burial in this exclusive sanctuary provides a final touch of glamour and privacy for one of the world's most enduring and beautiful stars. Paul Newman was a legendary actor, director, and philanthropist, whose brilliant blue eyes, classic good looks, and rebellious charm made him a Hollywood icon for over 50 years. He passed away from lung cancer on September 26, 2008, at his beloved home in Westport, Connecticut. He was 83 years old. Newman was a man who famously disliked the fanfare of Hollywood, and his final arrangements were a reflection of his humble and private nature. He was cremated following a private service for family and close friends. The final disposition of his ashes was handled privately by his family and has not been publicly disclosed. There is no grave, tomb, or public memorial for fans to visit. His legacy is not one of stone, but is found in his incredible body of film work, his successful racing career, and, most importantly, his Newman's Own brand, which has donated hundreds of millions of dollars to charity. 24. Gene Tierney, 1920–1991. Gene Tierney was renowned for her breathtaking and exotic beauty, particularly her stunning eyes, which captivated audiences throughout the 1940s and 50s. She is best known for her iconic role in the film noir classic Laura. Tierney passed away from emphysema in Houston, Texas, on November 6, 1991, just shy of her 71st birthday. Her final resting place is at the Glenwood Cemetery in Houston, Texas, a historic and beautiful cemetery known for its park-like setting and ornate monuments. She is buried in a traditional in-ground plot next to her first husband, Oleg Cassini. The grave is marked by a simple, flat granite stone, set flush with the grass. The marker is simply inscribed with her name, Jean Eliza Tierney, and her years of birth and death. The understated and modest nature of her grave stands in quiet contrast to her luminous and often larger-than-life presence on the silver screen, offering a peaceful and dignified final tribute. River Phoenix was an actor of immense talent and ethereal beauty, whose sensitivity and idealism defined him as a promising star of his generation. His promising career was tragically cut short when he died of a drug overdose outside a Hollywood nightclub on October 31, 1993. He was just 23 years old. In the wake of this shocking public tragedy, his family sought a private and peaceful final resting place. River Phoenix was cremated, and his ashes were interred at the Milam Funeral Home and Cremation Services in Gainesville, Florida, an area where he had spent much of his youth. His ashes are in a private family plot, not accessible to the general public. While there is no public grave, his fans often paid tribute to him at the site of his death. His true memorial is his poignant collection of film performances, which showcase a talent that was both powerful and profoundly vulnerable, a beautiful and fleeting light in cinema. Paul Walker was an actor whose piercing blue eyes, charismatic smile, and athletic build made him a modern Hollywood heartthrob. Best known for his starring role in the hugely successful Fast and Furious film franchise, his life was tragically cut short in a single-vehicle car crash on November 30, 2013. He was 40 years old. Following a private funeral service, Paul Walker was cremated. His ashes were interred at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in the Hollywood Hills of Los Angeles, California. He is buried in a tranquil, secluded garden area of the cemetery, away from the more frequently visited sections. His final resting place is marked by a simple, in-ground plot, with no large elaborate headstone, a choice reflecting his down-to-earth and private nature. The grave is identified by a small, discreet marker. This peaceful and understated final resting place offers a quiet tribute to a man remembered as much for his kindness and philanthropic work as for his movie star good looks. Grace Kelly was the epitome of cool, elegant beauty, an Oscar-winning actress who became a real-life princess. Her fairy-tale life came to a tragic end when she died from injuries sustained in a car accident on September 14, 1982, in Monaco. She was 52 years old. As a reigning monarch, her final resting place is the St. Nicholas Cathedral in Monacoville, Monaco, the same cathedral where she married Prince Rainier III in 1956. She is interred in the Grimaldi family vault within the cathedral's apse. Her grave is marked by a simple, elegant marble slab on the floor, set amongst the final resting places of Monaco's past rulers. The slab is inscribed in Latin, Gratia Patricia Principessa, followed by her years of birth and death. This regal and historic final resting place is a fitting tribute to the woman who gracefully transitioned from Hollywood royalty to the beloved Princess of Monaco. Sidney Poitier was a trailblazing actor, director, and diplomat whose elegance, dignity, and immense talent broke down racial barriers in Hollywood. He became the first black man to win the Academy Award for Best Actor in 1963. His handsome features were matched by an inner grace that made him a true icon. Poitier passed away at his home in Beverly Hills, California, on January 6, 2022, at the age of 94. A man who valued his privacy and family above all else, his final arrangements were kept deeply personal. Following his death, Sidney Poitier was cremated. His ashes were given to his family, and there is no public record of their final disposition. No public grave or memorial exists for fans to visit. This choice reflects a life lived with profound integrity, where the boundary between his public persona and private self was always respectfully maintained. His legacy is his monumental body of work, and the doors he opened for generations of actors who followed. Veronica Lake was the quintessential femme fatale of the 1940s, famed for her icy allure and signature peekaboo hairstyle that cascaded over one eye. Her on-screen persona was mysterious and sultry, making her a major star of the film noir genre. After a turbulent life, Lake passed away from hepatitis and acute kidney injury on July 7, 1973, at the age of 50. In a final wish that reflected her enigmatic and unconventional nature, Veronica Lake was cremated. According to her autobiography, her ashes were to be scattered off the coast of Miami. However, reports vary, with some claiming her ashes remained in a funeral home for years. It is most widely accepted that her ashes were eventually scattered in the waters off the coast of Florida, as she had requested. There is no public grave, marker, or final resting place. Her memorial is the ethereal, haunting presence she left behind in classic films, a timeless image of noir glamour as fleeting and mysterious as the sea itself.